Darrell, I can't thank you enough for being on the CEO Global Network podcast. I've been looking forward to this time together. I must have heard you speak, Darrell, I don't know how many times. It's got to be 30, 40 times. I learned
I'm
something.
sorry, John.
No, no, don't be sorry. You know this because you've heard me say it before. I learn something every time that we're together. You are a maven in this field, and so thank you for taking so much time to be with us today. We really appreciate it. I'm thanking you on behalf of everybody that's going to hear your answers to these questions. Right. So let's get started. First question I
Yeah.
have for you, Darrell, is you know. I know you started Candy Box back in the same year as I started CEO Global Network back in 2008. What inspired you to start the company in the first place, Darrell? How has your vision evolved over time? I mean, we're going on 18 years. So um,
Mhm.
let's start there, Darrell.
Yeah. When we started in 2008, I worked for, let's just say I worked for a company. I won't give the name, but you could probably guess who it is. It was the largest letter carrier in Canada. And during that time, I kind of got the behind the scenes of what was working, what wasn't working, direct mail, targeting, trying to figure out consumer trends and advertising. And I had an IT background, and as I took a look at what these companies were doing and the results that they were getting, it was very clear that like traditional marketing wasn't performing like it used to. If you had like a 0.01% response rate, that was considered successful. But that's also like, a 99.99% failure rate. And it kind of took a look at the industry and said, this isn't really working. At the same time, all these companies were looking to, do digital marketing, and yet that was even more confusing and convoluted. You may have like your web designer is somebody that that did print design, but can also maybe build you a website. Then you would take that Photoshop file, you'd send it overseas and get somebody to code it up. Then when that wasn't really working, you would hire like an SEO snake oil salesman to kind of try to inject keywords to try to trick search engines to come to your page. And with all these things being put together, and I'm only mentioning a couple components, with all these things being put together, the whole purpose of that was to try to get one prospect, like one potential customer, to perform one action online. And yet you've got like this intersection of contractors and scopes of work and all this stuff trying to get people to do one thing. And quite frankly, it just didn't work for companies. And so my vision back then is actually the same today, is just trying to figure out digital marketing that actually works. And so instead of like hiring all these people, I brought everybody into one house, or we joke, one box, right? Candy box marketing. So that when companies came to us, they really wanted to figure out how to make marketing work from cradle to grave, from the first time that a customer hears about a brand all the way through to the time that they're either clicking checkout or submitting a form. And I would honestly say, John, the vision is the exact same today. We are just very convinced that digital marketing should actually work for our customers. And so whether it's in new tactics, social media, AI, conversion rate optimization, all we're focused on is trying to create marketing that drives revenue.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. That's extremely interesting. So that was your vision, and that's what you're doing. That's what you're delivering. So how do you see AI changing the landscape of digital marketing over the next couple of years, Darrell? So let's say over the next
Yeah.
two.
Well, I mean, how won't it change everything is almost the
Yeah,
bigger question.
that's a big
We're
one.
as an agency, we're trying to figure out, what's actually going to stay the same. And as you kind of think about like what's going to change with digital marketing, you almost have to take a step back, because all of marketing is really trying to be in front of the right person in the right time with the right message. And as consumers change where they're looking, marketing has to change and be there. So, back in 2008, it was actually like search engines. The focus was there. 2010 to 2015, it was like social media, and people were creating Facebook pages and Twitter accounts and those things, right? And we take a look at consumer trends to figure out what are our marketing trends going to be, right? Because if we pick a new platform, or if we pick out something that we want to do as a marketing company, if customers aren't there, it doesn't matter. It can be really smart marketing, but it's just not going to work. And so what we're taking a look at right now is that customers over this next year, they're changing their habits to be more AI focused. And we're just at the infancy right now where people are using, ChatGPT and Perplexity over top of Google, and over top of, like, doing searches on even social to find out their answers. And so as that changes, as customers change, as they figure out, and as their, like, even their operating system with 365 and their iPhones or Samsung Galaxy, as all those things change, they're going to be trained to find brands and solutions and products and services a different way. And so as a marketer, we need to be in front of those people. Now, I recently saw two different studies done by two different groups, and here's an interesting fact that we've got to think about. And they said that if you get, like, let's say, a click onto your website from a search engine versus a click from AI. Okay, so somebody looking on just, Google or Bing versus somebody looking on GPT or Perplexity, the AI searcher is between 8 to 12 times more likely to become a customer than traditional search. 8 to 12 times. Now that's, if you want to take the average of 10xing, that means that is 10xing our results across the board, which is staggering, right? For marketers, you're excited for a 10% lift, but 1,000% lift is pretty amazing. So, we see with the adoption of AI, the consumers are going to be rapidly changing, and as marketers, we have to kind of keep up with this.
Yeah.
Now on the business side, this is going to be really exciting. And if I were to reduce marketing to, very simple terms in math, the process of marketing is actually to, be in front of the right person at the right time. But it's also to not be in front of the wrong person at the wrong time, because that's just waste, right? If you launch a campaign, whether it's direct mail, Google, social, and you're not in front of the right person, you're really just burning through your budget, right? So really great marketers are good at predicting where to be, when to be there, and with what message. And AI, if you think about it in its very practical sense, AI is a prediction engine. And so if we can predict the right website, if we can predict the right search terms, if we can predict the right person on social to go after at the right time, and then predict what message they should have. So we're not sending out an email to 10,000 people that's all the same, but we're sending out 10,000 individual emails based on, like, CRM data. That means that we get to reduce the waste, become more accurate, and then grow our companies faster. So as a marketer, we're really excited to see over the next couple of years how AI is going to really improve the return on investment for businesses.
Darrell, you speak to over 40 events a year, and maybe even more. And those are probably live events plus the webinars you do. What's the most surprising question you've been asked on stage?
One comes to mind really quickly, and this is a perfect day for this one. One time I was in an audience, and there was probably 1,500 people, did a full talk on digital marketing. And the first question, John, I'm not kidding you, was somebody had a question. They said, "What's written on your t-shirt?" And I always usually wear, like, graphic tees and, like, a jacket or something like that. And so I had to look down and read what was on my shirt because I had no idea. And it meant nothing. But apparently that was the burning question from an audience that big. So I really hope that person listened to a little bit more and wasn't just staring at my shirt the entire time, trying to make out what it says. So today, I think it's what, altitude? I don't know. So that's what it was.
That's really funny. Thank you for that. I got one last question for you, and then we'll wrap up. And that is, if you had one marketing channel to choose to dominate, which one would it be and why?
I'm going to try to answer this question, John, but as a marketing consultant, you always say it depends. So personally, I would choose LinkedIn. LinkedIn is always underutilized in terms of people actually posting it. People usually speak about themselves way too often instead of providing really good value. So there's a really good gap there if you're providing great content, and then you get extremely high engagement if you produce good content, and it's the type of engagement that you're happy about. So you're not just posting it for the world to see, and you have somebody, in the next country that isn't your ideal client profile commenting, right? Even though you can get higher views on other platforms, for me, because I'm B2B, I'm dealing with marketing managers and executives, CEOs on a regular basis. LinkedIn is definitely the area that I'd want to dominate. But because you kind of asked this generally, I want to answer another one that isn't common, and this is more for the B2C customers out there, and that is I would want to dominate Reddit.
Okay.
The reason why I'm saying Reddit is because it is actually fueling a lot of the natural conversations that are being exposed through AI. So when people are asking questions, it's actually searching and scanning Reddit for the most popular answers. And so Reddit is a bit of a gold mine for getting your content out there, getting it into the AI engines so that people that are asking questions over the next 5 years can find your brand. So LinkedIn for me, but Reddit for the B2C community.
No, well, that's terrific advice. So I really thank you for that. And yeah, it was there's so many things you could do, right? And so it's being able to zero in on those two if you're B2B or B2C. Yeah, thank you for that, and thank you for all your answers to those questions, Darrell. We only had a short period of time together, but always learn when I'm with you, and I can't thank you enough for being on the SEAL Global Network podcast. We really appreciate you being with us. So thank you,
Thank
Darrell.
you, John.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
so much.